Living in an HOA neighborhood means learning to tolerate a certain level of absurdity, but my neighbor Karen redefined the word. As the president of the Homeowners Association, she strutted around like the queen of the subdivision, convinced every rule was law and every house was her kingdom. 4 years. I kept my distance, nodding politely while ignoring her endless reminders about mailbox paint color or lawn height. But one Sunday afternoon, Karen finally crossed a line that even she couldn't walk back. I was inside fixing a leaky sink when I heard rattling at my front door, then a key turning in the lock. My heart skipped. I wasn't expecting anyone, and I live alone. I quietly peeked through the side window and nearly dropped my wrench when I saw Karen, dressed in her HOA vest, jiggling her keyring like she was opening her own house. I stepped outside. "Karen, what exactly are you doing?" She didn't even flinch. "I'm performing a compliance inspection," she said curtly. "The HOA recently installed master keys for emergency access. Yours must be jammed." "Master keys?" I asked, incredulous. "Karen, there's no such thing. You don't have any right to enter my home." She gave me that condescending smile. "So, as HOA president, I have the authority to ensure all properties meet community standards." Then, when her key failed to turn again, she huffed, "You must have changed the locks. This is a violation." I told her to leave my property before I called the sheriff myself. Instead, she whipped out her phone and called 911, telling the dispatcher that a hostile resident was obstructing an HOA inspection. I almost laughed, until I realized she was serious. 15 minutes later, a sheriff's cruiser pulled up. Karen folded her arms triumphantly, ready to watch me get lectured. But when the officer stepped out, her smug grin vanished instantly. It was my son, Deputy Sheriff Luke. He walked up, looked at me, then at Karen, and said flatly, "Mom told me about you." Karen stammered, I was just trying to perform my duties as HOA president. This resident is being uncooperative." Luke raised an eyebrow. You tried to unlock his front door. That's trespassing." Karen turned red. "I was told by the HOA board that we have emergency keys." Luke sighed. "No, that's called breaking and entering." He then gently took her by the elbow and led her off my porch, explaining that the sheriff's department doesn't enforce HOA nonsense. As they left, I couldn't help but chuckle. Later that evening, my son called to tell me Karen received a formal warning for misuse of emergency services. Since that day, she's never set foot near my porch again, and every time I see her walk by, she suddenly finds...